These meals are all prepped up, ready to go. We do this on a Sunday. You can do it on a Saturday, a Monday, whatever you want to do. But we do 5 days worth of nutrition in big batches. So Jennifer's are these little tiny containers. I have these bigger containers because I only eat 2 meals, 2 like massive meals a day. I guess you could say 2 meals, but so I'm gonna show you those 2 in a second here. Figure out which one is what. The 2 biggest meals I eat are pretty similar. This week I did onions, mushrooms, bok choy, broccoli rabe, Brussels sprouts, all sauteed up in the pan with just PAM spray, the fat-free spray, because I can only have 20 grams of fat a day, so I don't want to saute it in oil. But if you can afford more fat, you can do that. So in this one dish is 2 cups of rice, 7 ounces of turkey tenderloin, and about 2 cups of vegetables. In the second meal, literally the same thing. There's less protein. There's only 3 ounces of the turkey tenderloin. Oh, that's not it. Oh yeah, that is. And 2 cups of pasta, which is roughly 8 ounces. So those are my 2 main meals. On top of that, I have 3 protein shakes a day, and then my 4th other meal is anything like milk, like fat-free milk with a high glycemic carbohydrate like cereal, Nutri-Grain bars, things like that. That's allowed in my diet for Renaissance periodization. So in total, I'm eating 6 to 7 meals, but 2 massive meals. I gotta figure out which one of these is leaking because my fingers are sticky and they're wet. Downside of buying a like Jabla or like dollar store container is that they break really, really easily. This one that the Fit Bag sent me is like, it's weather sealed, suction sealed, or whatever you want to call it, and it's like made of legit plastic. The dollar store ones, we've gone through probably 3 or 4 dozen of them because we always have to replace them because they get cracked. But anyways, I meal prep Sunday, right, for 5 full days. And then the Saturday, Sunday is kind of more of a flexible dieting in the cheat days. But by preparing all week, you're gonna have a better outcome in your diet, whether that's maintaining your weight, cutting weight especially, and gaining weight, because there's no room for error. Everything's kind of lined up, especially with your macros and calories per meal. You just microwave it and you eat it. So before you can meal prep, you need to know what your macros and your daily calories are. So we're gonna discuss that now, and it's gonna save you some money because you're not gonna have to go to a nutritionist. So now whether you're doing If It Fits Your Macros, flexible dieting, Renaissance periodization, whatever the diet you're doing, like I said, every diet works, but it's what diet you stick to and what macros you stick to and what calories you stick to. So before I give you the information, I want to say that you got to figure out what works for you, because all these diets can work, but you need to put in the work. And everyone's looking for that quick fix, and that goes with exercise programs and nutrition. People are looking for the next best thing. What is Joe Schmo doing? Or they look towards fitness enthusiasts and fitness models, and they want to know what their calories are, what their macros are, because yo, this freaking train blowing my scene. They're looking at, you know, all these people and they want to look like them, so they figure if they can eat their calories or their macro split, they'll look just like them. And that's just not the case. That's not what works. So you need to figure out what works for your body at this exact moment in time, because let's just take like a bodybuilder, for instance. Who's a bodybuilder? Phil Heath, okay, right? Or Ronnie Coleman, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, whoever, I don't know. If you're eating like that person, right? Say you're like 150 pounds and you're a dude, and you're eating like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was 250 pounds or whatever, you're not gonna get the same body composition because you're not Arnold, or you're not Ronnie Coleman, or whoever. Same thing for the ladies. If you're following a bikini model or a fitness model or somebody, and you're eating their calories and their macros, it's not gonna turn you into them because you're not having their training program. Your body's not exactly like them. You don't have the same muscle mass. You don't have the same body fat percentage. So don't get stuck in the trap of looking at people that you wanna be, which is great. I mean, you can aspire to be just like somebody, but you can't eat the same way they do because you're not them. and their macros aren't going to work with your body type or your body in general, because everyone's metabolism is different, everyone's total daily expenditure is different, their daily life is different, so nobody's macros are gonna work just for you. And I'll say this personally, when people message me and they ask me what my macros are and what my calories are, I don't answer, not to be rude, but because giving you that information is not going to help you. So you need to figure out what your goals are, figure out what your calories are, and what macro split and diet works best for you. But let's get down to it. So there's some easy, simple ways that you can figure out your total daily calories and your macro splits. But let's go over calories first. Now, one of the easiest ways to do it is to go on a website. I'm gonna put it in the link in the description. It's the Harris-Benedict equation. It's actually really, really accurate because I just compared it to my Renaissance periodization calories, and it's pretty accurate. So I'm gonna put it on the screen and show you what it looks like. Okay, so you get to this main page, right? You're in the Harris-Benedict equation. I already put all my information in, but you put your age, go male or female, you put your height in inches or centimeters, pounds, body weight, or kilograms. So I put all my information in. Now, the next most important part is your daily activity level. So this little column right here, there's sedentary, mildly active, moderate activity, heavy activity, and very extreme activity. So underneath in this little gray area, it'll tell you. So sedentary is literally you don't exercise at all and you're kind of just, you go to work and that's it. Mild activity is if you're doing 20 minutes 1 to 3 times a week. So if you're doing 20 minutes of exercise 1 to 3 times a week, very light exercise plus your job. Moderate activity level is 30 to 60 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. Heavy is if you have like a really heavy intense job plus you're doing 60 minutes or greater 5 to 7 times per week. And then extreme is like you're an athlete, you're doing multiple training sessions, you have a crazy job, things like that, then you're extreme. So I'm gonna go, I already did this equation, but I'm gonna go on heavy activity and I'm gonna hit the calculate button. So for me, and you're gonna see this screen for yourself, going off of all this information, it gives me a base metabolic rate, or BMR, of 1,973 total daily calories. Now that's if I didn't exercise. But now adding in my daily activity level, it's giving me a total daily calories of 3,354 total calories. Now this amount of calories is if I want to just maintain my current state. So if you go down even further, it already gives you weight loss information. So if you want to lose 1 to 1.5 pounds per week, right? And this is where we talked about the cheat days. 500 calories deducted from your total daily calories per day equals 3,500 calories per week. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of body fat. Now, obviously this isn't totally accurate, right? As we discussed in the cheat day, because I ate 20,000 calories, I should have gained 6 pounds, but I didn't. So if I take 500 calories off of my base metabolic rate up here, it will give me 2,854 calories per day, which is roughly, keyword roughly here, 1 pound of weight loss per week. So going off of this equation, it's actually pretty accurate. So I first went under very extreme because I work out multiple sessions a day and my job is somewhat labor intensive, not necessarily, because I mean I am moving weights around for people and I'm on my feet and I'm moving around. So I was like, all right, let's see what extreme is. And extreme, just for example, is 3,749 calories a day. And then if I wanted to lose weight, it puts me in a deficit of 3,249. So going off of just the heavy, it's actually much more accurate. So on Renaissance periodization, I'm eating around 2,800 calories, and this Harris-Benedict equation gives me 2,854. So very, very accurate. Now for you, if you don't know what your total calories are, and you don't have a previous diet to go off of like I do, you're kind of gonna be shooting blind a little bit. So I would say underestimate a little bit. Don't overestimate. So really go off that activity level section and try to figure out the best spot for you, because if I didn't know what my macros are or my calories were, I would be like, oh, I'm extreme because I'm working out 2 times a day. But obviously that would have hindered my progress because I would be eating too many calories. I would be 400 calories plus. So what you need to do is give this equation a shot, right? And then stick to whatever they give you for like 3 to 4 weeks without changing anything. And that's a huge weight loss or weight gaining tip. Don't just expect to lose that first pound within that first week, because there's just like the cheat days, there's an adaptation phase. Your body needs to get adjusted to the new calories, the new foods, the new time of eating, the training. Everything needs to get adjusted and your body needs to get accustomed to this new stimulus that you're giving it. So don't expect the first week to be a weight loss, even the second week. You might not lose anything till the 3rd week. And this is where everyone's looking for the quick fix. What's gonna get me to point A to point B the fastest? And the real answer is hard work over a long period of time. But if you don't want to go through this Harris Benedict and you want a little bit more detail on a diet, you can hire a nutritionist, which is going to cost you $200 to $500 depending on who you go through. Yo, this train going by, can you guys hear that? Freaking train going by again. So nutritionists will cost you a lot of money. Or you can do what I did. I didn't even want to bother with the equation or figuring out what I needed. So I went through the Renaissance periodization, which for me is easy because I just plug in my information, my weight, my gender, and my goal, weight loss or weight gain. So I hit weight loss, it pumps out a template for me. It tells me what I need to eat every single day, what time to eat it, and it's really, really easy. So if you want to do Renaissance periodization, you can use the code Marino10, save you some dollars. It's about $100. Or you can go $0 and do this Harris Benedict. I always get that mixed up because I think about Benedict, like eggs Benedict. Harris Benedict equation, $0. But whatever you choose, stick with that for 3 to 4 weeks before you change it all. So let's talk about macros. So another huge thing that people get confused with is macros, total daily macros and total daily calories. And they think those 2 things are different. So people always ask me, do you do weekly calorie goals or weekly macro goals? Do you do it for fit your macros? What are macros? So let me just break it down just in case nobody knows. Macronutrients are protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Micronutrients are all your vitamins and minerals, okay? Now, your total daily calories, let's go off of me, 2,800 calories a day. What is that made of? What does that mean? That means for my protein, right? 180 grams of protein a day. That's one of my macros, right? 180 times 4 calories per gram equals 720 calories, right? So 720 calories of my total daily calories is coming from protein, right? Then if I do 480 carbs times 4, that's 1,920 total calories. Then if I go 20 grams of fat times 9, so 9 calories per gram in fat, which is the highest macro that you eat, 20 times 9 equals 180. Now if I add all those macros up, my protein calories, my carb calories, and my fat calories, that equals my total daily calories. So macros and total daily calories are basically the same thing. The only reason it's different is if you go on a caloric goal, right? So say 2,800 calories, that's my goal for the day, and you don't do macros, like you just eat whatever, you're like just eating through the day and then all of a sudden you're at 2,800 calories and you stop, but your macro percentages are all wacky every single day, that's going to affect not only your weight loss, but mostly your body composition. So macronutrient breakdown is very, very important. So let's discuss the different breakdowns that you can do. The most common breakdown is 40-40-20. So if you use MyFitnessPal, which is, I tell people to use it all the time, MyFitnessPal, right? You go under more, you go under goals, you can go to calories and macros, right? So under here, if you buy the app, you can change these macros exactly to what they are. I don't have it set exactly because I didn't buy the app, but you get pretty close. So you can set in your exact macros. So if you look over here, in this corner right here, you can see the percentage breakdown of my macros. So I can set that up to whatever I want. So it looks like this. Those little pinwheels, I can slide these up and down to whatever percentage I want for my fat, protein, and carbs. So the easiest thing to do is go to your FitnessPal, you type in your total daily calories. I would type in 2,800. I would put 40% protein, 40% carb, 20% fat, and then it's gonna spit out my macros based off of those percentages. So that's really, really common. I would suggest that breakdown to anybody that wants to just lose weight or improve their body composition, a lower fat diet. Personally, I don't think you need 40% protein of your diet. I think that's excessive. So if I did the equation of 40%, 2,800 calories times 40% divided by 4 would give me 280 calories, 280 grams of protein a day. That's 100 grams over what I'm eating. Instead of eating 280 for protein, I knock off 100 grams of protein and I add that to carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are going to be my main source of energy on a lower fat diet. So why not use that towards what's going to fuel my workouts? Now, I personally do this breakdown. Roughly 26 to 28% protein. I'm roughly 9 to 10% fat intake, and the remainder is carbohydrates. So I personally think you should do this. I want you to take the total calories that you got from the Harris-Benedict equation. I want you to write that down on the piece of paper. I want you to take your body weight in protein. So for me, it's 190 grams, right? So I'm gonna write down 190 grams protein. Now, I want you to times those calories by 20% to get your total fat. 2,800 times 20% equals 560 total calories. I'm gonna divide that by 9 because there's 9 calories per gram in fat. That leaves me with 62 grams of fat. So now I already have my protein because my protein is my body weight. I have my fat because my fat is 20%. Now all I'm gonna do is backfill the rest with carbohydrates. So I take 190, I times that by 4. I take the 62 grams of protein, I times that by 9. So 558 plus 760 for the protein leaves me with 1320 out of my 2,800. So I subtract that by 2,800, which leaves me with 1,480. And all I do is divide that by 4, which gives me 370 carbs. So now, simply, all I do is plug that information into my FitnessPal, and boom, I'm ready to go. I have my macros. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you're on a keto style diet, you need to be ultra low carb, so you need basically less than 5% carbohydrates, so you can keep your insulin down. I would do your body weight again in protein, maybe even a little bit more, and then backfill the rest with fat. So your fat is going to be really, really high. Your protein is going to be moderate to your body weight. And then the rest is going to be carbohydrates, which is basically should be less than 30 grams. But try the 20% fat. Now, if you're an athlete, you're trying to go towards strength and athletic performance, I suggest doing 25 to 30% fat, because that's going to fuel your workouts, help with recovery. But if you're going for that body composition, trying to lose weight, get leaner, 20% of fat. I hope that information is helpful. If it was, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any other questions. I will reply. But now that you have those macros and you have those calories, now you can dice that up however you want. 6 meals, 5 meals, 3 meals, or whatever you want to do for the day, and just divide it up even, and then meal prep accordingly. Get all your meals prepped out for the week. Put them in your fridge. That way, during the week, you just pop them in the microwave and you're ready to go. You will have better results. You'll have faster results. And remember that this is a long haul goal. You're not going to get to point A to point B within 2 weeks. So hold on tight. I know a lot of you guys are beginners and you're trying to diet for the first time. You got to hold on for 3 to 4 weeks before you see any results. So don't think that if you don't lose any weight in the first week, or if you even gain weight, don't freak out. Let your body adjust to the diet, and in the long haul, you'll have results.